Yeah, we'll start. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, start, mom. You can start right now. Yeah.
Yes. A very good evening to one and all present here. Thank you for joining today's Youth Dialogue event. I am Saubhagya Venkat, a member of NYCI Tamil Nadu, and I'd like to welcome you all. The National Youth Council of India is a multiple award winning non-profit organization with two Guinness World Records, which was previously called the Youth Development Consortium. We are proud to say that it is the world's largest youth council. We believe that young people are the heart of solutions to the world's greatest challenges. And that's why we are dedicated to strengthening systems in communities to achieve sustainable outcomes in health, education, political, and economic empowerment. By helping young people pursue their aspirations, we empower them to contribute and benefit from the creations of more peaceful and prosperous communities. I'd like to take this opportunity to acknowledge our state president of NYCI, Tamil Nadu, and the board member of the National Unification Advisory Council, South Korea, Mr. R. Vimal. We are grateful to have such an eminent administrator and a man with a vision and mission as our president. The way to develop the best in a person is by appreciation and encouragement. We are privileged to have such a person amongst us. Miss, we also welcome our chief guest and the speaker for the day, Miss Rhoda Harriet Khataba. Miss Rhoda is a global change agent, humanitarian, media influencer, an avid writer, and an award winning business development consultant. She is the founder and the CEO of Her Story Matters, an organization whose vision is to empower women personally and economically, support women in reducing effects of societal injustice, and have women's voices heard. Ms. Kataba currently works with the UK government and the Department for International Development by assisting in raising national awareness of harmful practices among women and children, as well as for the international organizations like the AMREF Health Africa in increasing health awareness. Ms. Kataba is the co-author of the Warrior's Playbook, a book on well-being and self-advocacy. Harriet hosted a lifestyle show called Trends and produced business and lifestyle shows in both media and radio from 2012 to 2014. She has received awards from various organizations for inspirational entrepreneur and emerging leader. She also mentors emerging young leaders and pioneering entrepreneurs. And once again, it gives us immense pleasure in welcoming everyone present here at the Youth Dialogue. We hope you have an engaging and enriching session ahead. Thank you and have a great day.
Thank you so much for that amazing, amazing introduction. I want to say thank you to Vimal for extending the invitation and the amazing work that you're doing. And I also want to thank the Indian Youth Service for every single thing that you're doing. I believe that the youth are the future. I believe that the youth hold the keys to the change that we want to make. And one of the things that I really want to emphasize is that I think young people don't realize how valuable they are, and they don't realize the keys that they have within themselves, which is in creativity and innovation. I was speaking to Bimal the other day, and we were talking about how the older generation have the experience, but the younger generation have the creativity and innovation. So I just want to emphasize on that the young people need to realize, you all need to realize that you are the future, that you hold the keys to the future that we seek, and that it's time for all of you to really rise up and take your positions, because all of you are very, very important. All of you hold the key to different changes that we expect to see. All of you really have everything that we need. Each and every one of you has that within you. So if you don't think that you have something for us, I'd like to let you know today that you do have something for us. You do have something to change the world. You have something that will contribute to a better future. So I just want to start by talking about a bit about my career journey. I've been very fortunate to work with big organizations, to be able to work in media And I've been able to see different people, very, very successful people, and I've been able to learn from them, because one of the things that I realized is when we go to school, we are taught a certain curriculum, but there are certain things that we're not taught. We're not taught how to develop ourselves. We're not taught how to plan our time. We're not taught how to really think about what we want to become. We don't think about how we will get there. And one of the things that I'm very passionate about is just helping people to recognize that blueprint in their life, to be able to really figure out what they want to do and how to be able to get there. Like I said, I really believe in the youth. I mentor my nieces and my nephews, and it gives me so much pleasure to just see them, grow and become something of themselves. Another myth that I want to dispute today as well is, I don't know if you've heard when people say, oh, young people, are lazy, or young people just don't want to be able to do the hard work to get to where they are. I would like to dispute that, because I've seen very many young people doing amazing things, and once they have direction, once they have an idea of what to do, I really think that the youth are very, very hardworking. And I'm glad that all of you have been able to show up for yourselves, because it shows that you're really serious about your lives. You're really serious about, changing your circumstances. You're really serious about making something out of your life. So today I just want to talk about personal development, and I call it personal development, but it's also personal planning. And I've got some notes that I would keep referring to, keep looking at, so that I make sure that I give you value for your time. I respect that you've made time to be here for the next half an hour, 45 minutes. I respect that, because it's your time and it's valuable and you're valuable. So I want to make sure that I really give you something valuable for you to be able to take with you, to be able to change your life, to be able to make a difference to your life, to be able to apply it straight away. Because there's no need in listening to a talk and then you come out of the talk and you can't really apply those things. I'm very practical. I like being very hands-on, because I believe that you grow as you keep moving. So I want to talk about, personal planning. Like I said, when you go to school, even when you're born, your parents dictate how you spend your time. They dictate when you're going to sleep. They dictate when you're going to eat. They really dictate everything in your life. And when you start school, you have, when you go to school, what time the class starts, when to hand in your homework. So you don't really have that opportunity to plan your time, because your time is planned, right? So because our time is planned like that, when we finish school, when we finish university, we're left with our whole lives and not knowing how to plan our time. And planning our time and planning ourselves is what really is the difference between where you are and what you want to become. Because when you plan your time, when you know what you need to do, when you know the steps that you need to apply, then you're able to get to where you want to go. It's kind of like leaving maybe London and saying that I want to come to India. I know I want to go to India, but I don't know how to get there. I'll have to start researching how I need to get to India, right? I'll need to research what flights do I need to take? Where do I need to get the flight from? How much money is it going to take me? How many hours is it going to take me? When I get to India, where do I specifically want to get? Because India is a really good, really, really massive place. And it's the same thing with your dreams. When you think about your dream, I mean, I was speaking to my niece the other day. She's only 10. And I asked her, what do you want to become when you get older? And she said to me that she wants to be a media influencer. So I said to her, what area in media influencer do you want to be? And she was quiet and she said, oh, I want to be a YouTuber. She had to be specific, because you can be a media influencer, but where do you want to be specifically, right? So in going towards the specifics, then you're able to understand, this is what exactly I want to be. So the first thing that you have to do when you're planning yourself, you're planning your time, is think about, what do you want to be? What exactly do you want to be? And how does that look like? How does that look like? For instance, one of the things I want to do is to be an international speaker, right? And I said this last year, I want to be an international speaker because I was a national speaker. And because I was specific, I said I want to be an international speaker, speaking to the young people on areas of leadership and business. Then I began to define exactly what I want. You have to be able to define exactly what you want to be. How does it look like? And who is it for? You have to know what kind of impact that you want to make, because being a speaker is just being a speaker, but what impact do I want to make? I want to inspire young people to take up their position and to be able to better themselves, because I believe in them. They're the future. So I am specific and I know what impact I want to make. So that makes it very clear for me, because if someone calls me and says to me that they want me to speak to middle-aged people, then I know that's not the group I want to inspire, because I'm not passionate about them, right? You have to be very specific. You have to know exactly what you want to do. You have to know exactly where you want to be. You want to know who you want to impact and why. I want to impact the youth because I believe in them. I believe they're the future. So if someone called me to speak to older women, I'm not really interested, because I don't think about their future, right? It's not that I'm not interested. I'm just not passionate about it. So I'm not going to make a difference or an impact in their lives. And this is what being specific helps you with, because you know who you want to do, you know who you will want to speak to, you know what you're interested in. So when opportunities come your way, you're not going to be sidelined. It's like if I say I want to go to India, if I go to the airport, they say to me, well, we don't have tickets to go to India, but we have tickets to go to Pakistan. I don't want to go to Pakistan, so I'm not going to buy the ticket, right? Because I know where I want to go and I know why I want to go there. I want to visit the place. I've got specific places I want to visit. I want to probably come and say hello to Vimal. So that's specific. I'm coming to say hello to Vimal and to see the youth in the country. So there's no need for me to go to Pakistan, even if the tickets are cheap to go to Pakistan. I'm not interested because it's not my priority. So you have to be very, very specific with what you want to do. Be very specific. Have a think about it. Think about it, explore it. Sometimes it's not very clear and it might take some time, but take time because it's your future, right? Everyone plans about everything except their future. We plan about what we want to buy and then we'll buy it the following month, but we don't plan about what we want to be and how it looks like. So I'm here to change your mind and to let you think, what do you want to be? So even when you go to social media, you'll be looking for who you want to be. So if you want to be an influencer, you're looking at influencers. In what area? You want to be inspiring people. So those are the people that you reach out to. Those are the people you follow. You don't waste your time looking at every influencer because that's not what you're interested in. Being specific helps you to really narrow down and spend your time wisely. So the next thing I'm going to talk about is how do you plan your day or even your time? And I always say to people, do this for a week. Every time you wake up, write down each and every single thing you do. I know it seems tedious, but it's your life, right? It's your future. So you have to put the effort in your life and your future. So write down, what do you do when you wake up? So you wake up, what time do you have breakfast? What do you do after that? That will give you an idea of where you're wasting time. You'd be so surprised how much time people waste in a day. You know, I used to go on social media and I'd be like, oh, I'm only on social media for about 15, 20 minutes. But then on my phone, it would show me how long I was on Facebook. And I was so shocked. Sometimes I was on Facebook for an hour and it felt like 5 minutes, right? So when you actually write down what you're doing, you'll be able to see where you're wasting time. Because when you're doing something, time goes so quick and your mind does not register it. So because your mind does not register it, it feels like 5 minutes, but it's been 2 hours you've wasted. So write down each and every single thing you do because it's important for you to see where you spend your time. It is your life. It is your time. It is your responsibility. How do you spend your time? Write that down. Look at areas that you're doing. Look at what you're doing. Look at, different things that you're doing in the day and really have a sit down and really think, is it necessary for me to watch Netflix for 5 hours a day? Seriously, is it necessary for you to be on social media for 5 hours? If you're on social media for 5 hours, what are you doing? Is it your job? If it's not your job, then you're wasting time. You're not getting paid for it. I know some people who get paid to be on social media, right? They get paid to like people's posts and stuff like that. Don't get carried away with that. Those people are being paid to engage with you on social media. They are being paid to use up your time, right? So I don't know if you've got Netflix. I would like for you to watch the docuseries called Social Dilemma. You'll be so surprised. Every time you go on there, every minute you spend there is a currency for someone else. Someone is making money from you, from your time, right? So be aware, be conscious about these things. If you're really serious about your future, you'll be serious about your time, because money can be made. Time cannot be reconciled. You cannot get time from yesterday. That time is gone. But if you wasted money yesterday, you can make that same money today and tomorrow. But time is gone. Time is your currency. Every single person has 24 hours a day. I have 24, you have 24. Even the wealthiest man has 24. Bill Gates has 24. Any successful person you can think of has 24 hours, the same as you. It's one of those things that God gave to each man equal. So no one has more time than anyone else. The difference is, what do you do with your time and what they do with their time? So be very careful with your time. Guard your time, because it's your currency. Whether you're wealthy, whether you're not, currency is your time. If you value it, it will value you back, right? So that's your currency, that's your time. Value it, monitor it, right? And then the next thing I want to really speak about is, when you think about successful people, who are you attracted to? We're usually attracted to different kinds of successful people. Some people will be, and it depends with what you want to be. Some people were attracted to this gentleman who passed away from Apple. Some people really loved him. And it's because he was very innovative and he was very creative. So look at the people that you really value and people that you like and people that you follow. What is it about them that you like, right? So someone like, let's say, Michelle Obama, for instance, because I like her. I think she's very articulate. I think she's very poised. And when I say she's very poised, it's because she's very confident, right? So when I look at her, I'm thinking, I would like to be that confident when I speak. I would like to be, that articulate when I speak. I would like to be very clear and concise. So look at the people that you follow. Look at the people that you like. Look at the people that you engage with. What is it about them that you like? What is it about them that you admire? And I usually say to people to use this because sometimes it's hard to figure out what you really want and what you like. So when you look at someone and you look at how they do it, that could be an indication of what is inside you that you need to develop, because you cannot identify something that's not inside you already. It's inside you, but you need to develop it, right? And we'll get to that. So when I look for me, one of the examples is Michelle Obama. And I said, because I like her voice. When she comes and she speaks, she's very, very confident. So how can I develop that same confidence that she has? I do that by what? Believing in myself, right? No one else will believe in you if you don't believe in yourself. She believes in herself. She believes in what she is saying. She believes in her message because her message is personal to her. Remember when we started, I said to you, think about why you want to do what you want to do and why you believe in that. It's very important. So for me, Michelle really focuses on young people. She believes in young people. So I admire that. And I see that in myself. I see she's very confident. How can I build my confidence? Well, if I'm in a room, I make sure I speak to everyone. So sometimes one of the things that holds us back is fear. So breaking away from that fear is doing the thing that you fear the most. Because sometimes when you do that thing that you fear, you realize that it was just a thought, that there's nothing scary about it. Years ago, I always talk about this. I was invited to speak in a different state in Birmingham. And at that time, I felt so inadequate because the speakers on that platform were amazing. There were engineers on that platform. The first female engineer in England was on that platform. There was a baroness on that platform. Everyone was very, very accomplished. And I was sitting there, I was shaking. I was looking at them, I'm looking at myself, and I was comparing myself with them. And that's another big mistake that, people make. At that time, I was young, inexperienced. I was looking at them and thinking, oh my goodness. And then the worst thing is they put me to speak last, right? Anyone who speaks last knows how traumatic that is, because you've listened to how everyone else has presented. And if you don't have self-confidence, like I was then, you're really worried. You're thinking, how am I going to be able to do something like that? How am I going to be better than that? And it happens to everyone. And I wish I could say to you that when I went on that stage, it was dynamic and I overcame my fear then. I didn't. I overcame my fear, which was standing there, but the talk was horrible, right? I'm not going to lie. It was horrible. I was sweating. I was shaking. I forgot things that I wanted to say. I was all over the place. And that failure taught me, this is something else. Don't be afraid to fail, right? Everyone fails. Every single person fails miserably, many times, right? Very many times. So that was a huge failure for me. I had gone all the way to Birmingham. I live in London. It's a few hours away. On my way back, all I could think about was how terrible I was. How boring my talk was. And at that time, I was determined. I was determined that I was going to get better at it. I was determined that, you know what, I have failed, but this failure has taught me something. That I was miserable on the platform because I didn't prepare. I did not prepare. It was the first time I was being invited to speak on such a platform. I didn't prepare. So what did I learn? I need to prepare. I need to prepare and prepare and prepare. This also helps if you're fearful. Preparation. Keep preparing. Every single day is an opportunity to prepare for the bigger opportunities coming. This is why I'm saying your time is very, very, very valuable. Your time is your currency. So I began to prepare and I realized I need to prepare and I need to build my confidence. How did I build my confidence? I started speaking a lot more. I started allowing myself to be in places and speak and not judge myself. Because let me tell you the good news. There's no perfect person out there. There's no one who's perfect. Everyone is thinking, was I good enough? Did I do it well? There's no single person out there who is perfect. Every single person is dealing with something that they're not showing other people. So if you feel that you're imperfect, join the club. I know a club that has, is full of imperfect people, right? So that's something to do. Keep practicing your craft. I started practicing speaking a lot more. I realized that I need to prepare myself more. And I took advantage of that. Even when there was 3 people in the audience, or I was invited to speak to just 2 people, I would do it. And I would do it so enthusiastically and so happily because I wanted to grow. And every opportunity was for me to grow. So do not despise what looks as small things, right? Do not despise it. I remember years ago, I did an event and only 5 people showed up. The room was supposed to hold 50 people. Only 5 people showed up. Was I disappointed? Yes, it was the first time I was doing an event. Did I feel bad? Yes, I did. But did I dwell on that? No. What did I do? I realized that even those 5 people are valuable. They gave up their time to come in. So I need to value them, right? I started valuing people a lot more, valuing how everyone is around me, and just valuing them and giving them the best. So what I learned is, even if it's one person who shows up, give your best, right? Because it's an opportunity for you to grow. Because you know something, being successful, your character is tested. How do you behave with that one person? Do you value them? The universe is not going to give you 1,000 people if you don't value one person, if you don't value 2 people. So what do? We value each and every single person present. We value each and every single person who believes in your vision. Don't discount that. Nurture that. Enjoy that. Celebrate that. Because that's one extra soul that sees the benefit within you, right? So start building yourself in those areas. Look at what you want to grow. Look at what, write down the list. Write down, what do I see in this person that I really like? Okay, I see confidence. I see she's skilled. I see she knows what she's talking about. She's a good leader. Okay, so I look at myself. Am I a good leader? Not so great. Am I a good speaker? Not so great. Not where I want to be. So what do? I start writing down, I want to be a great speaker, the areas that I want to grow. You have to be honest. This is why I started with know what you want to achieve. For me, I'll use my journey. Wanting to be an international speaker, one of the things that I did is I said, I have to increase my vocabulary. That means I have to read more because I need to be able to speak in a language that people will be able to understand. I don't want to use big words that get lost in. No, I want to use languages that people can relate to. So I wrote down, I need to read more books. So what I did is in the morning, I made time to read at least 10 pages in a book. So every morning, if you read 10 pages, within 2 weeks, you finish the whole book. Literally, because you're doing 10 pages every single day. In a year, you have the capacity of reading about 100 books. See, that's when you have planned your time. So I decided I want to read more, right? Because I want to increase my vocabulary. I want to know more about leadership. So who do I know that is really good in leadership? So I saw John Maxwell is a really good person in areas of leadership. I started studying how he spoke. I started buying his books, reading it, listening to him, because I wanted to learn, right? I really wanted to learn. I wanted to grow. And then I surrounded myself with people who were speakers. And then I would ask them for tips and I would ask for feedback. It's really hard listening to feedback because sometimes people say to you, that was not great. That was really terrible. You need to improve in this. You have to be open to that. It's not criticism. It's feedback. This is how I look at it. I don't look at it as criticism. I look at it as feedback because they tell you so that you can grow, so that you know the areas that you have gaps and the areas that you can improve yourself. So ask for feedback. That's a really good one. Ask for feedback. Surround yourself with people who are going somewhere, because people who are going somewhere, their language is different. They don't talk about the latest clothes. They don't talk about the latest movie or the latest shows. I know those things are good to socialize, right? And those are things that you can find out in 5 minutes. You don't need to spend your whole day researching, right? You can find out in 5 minutes when you socialize with people. So you don't need to research that for yourself, right? Surround yourself with people who are going somewhere. Surround yourself with people who value the things that you value, which is personal growth. They value their future. They want to make a difference, because there's a big difference between making a difference and making money. Making money is easy. Making a difference is not. Many people make money, but they don't make a difference, right? So do you want to make money? Do you want to make a difference? Do you want to do the two? Because you can do the two. When you're making a difference, you're guaranteed to make money, definitely, because your focus is different. Your focus is on the future. Your focus is on growth. Your focus is on expansion, right? You cannot have a responsibility that you're not mature enough to handle. How do I explain this? When you look at a little child, even if the child is born in a wealthy family, when they turn 5, the parents can buy the child a car because they have the money, they can buy the car. But at 5, can the child drive the car? No. At 6, can the child drive the car? No. Why is that? Because the child is not emotionally mature. The child is not physically mature. The child is not mentally mature. And it's the same thing with us. It's the same thing with saying, I want to run a Fortune 500 company. It's a really good plan. It's a really good dream. But where you are, you don't have the emotional maturity to run that. And it's okay, because you can grow in that area. You don't have the mental capability to run that, because that comes with so much stress. You need to learn how to handle the pressure, because people who run countries have that visibility because of the pressure that they handle, the responsibility that they handle. Being a president in a country, or even in a company, or even in an organization, right? Even a CEO. I am the CEO because of the pressure that I handle. When people want to think about money, it's me they come to. When people want to think about hiring or firing, it's me they come to, right? When an employee is fired, I am the one who gets the blame. Well, the CEO does not think that this job is available anymore. So your job will be handling the responsibility. Can you handle responsibility? How do we tell if you can handle responsibility? Are you responsible if you lie? How do you show responsibility? Do you show up to classes on time? Do you do your tasks on time? Do you offer to do more than you're asked to do? These are areas that build responsibility. Can people trust you? Are you honest? Do you have integrity? All these things come into play when you're a CEO in a company, because your integrity will be the employee's integrity. It will be the same integrity that goes to each and every individual. It will be the energy in your company. It will be the energy in anything you do. It will be the energy in every single thing that you touch. So what energy do you want to be there? Do you want it to be positive energy? If you want it to be positive in energy, if you want it to be inspiring and empowering, you have to be inspired. You have to be empowered, right? So write those things down and look at yourself honestly and think, what do I need to work on? Just plan it out, write it out. It's a long list. I know every single person has got a lot of things to develop, trust me, because there's spiritual development, which is very important. Spiritual development grounds you. So that's important for every single person everywhere. Spiritual development grounds you. It's important. Every other area you include finances. Are you good with money? If you're not good with money, you need to start studying about money. That's another thing you write down. How do you want to build your skills? You have to write that down because skills are very important. Your skills are very important. Like I said, you have creativity and innovation. And your generation, I say your generation because I'm a generation above, just a little bit. I'm not in university anymore. Finished university years ago. But your generation has something which is different. You have a natural ability for creativity and innovation. And I think you don't take it seriously. Once you start taking it seriously and harnessing it, it will work for you. So all of you have that naturally. How can you be creative in what you do? How can you be innovative in what you do? It can be the same thing as everyone else does. But if it's creative and innovative, it's a new way of doing it. And it attracts people, right? It attracts change. So write all of those things down. One of the things that we usually don't realize is we are a house. I love using that analogy because when we think of a house, we think of, that beautiful house, how it looks like, and, everything about that house. But did you know that 80% of the money and the materials go in building the foundation? That's insane, right? That's 80%. 80% of how much the house costs goes in foundation. 80% of your success will be on your foundation. That foundation is what you do now. Between now and the next 10 years, that's your foundation. So what are you putting in your foundation? If you're not putting time, skills, everything else in your foundation, trust me, your house is not going to stand. I don't know if you've heard of these people who win millions. In London, in United Kingdom, we have something we call lottery. People play the lottery and they win millions. And they did something. They followed people who had won the millions. They followed them 3 years down the line, 5 years down the line. Do you know they had lost all the millions? They had spent all the millions. Literally, someone has won 100 million pounds. Think about that. But that 100 million pounds has gone in 3 years. Why? Because of their foundation. 80% is in your foundation. So allow yourself at least 10 years to build your foundation, because that's where the work goes. That's where the energy goes. And that's where it's daunting. The foundation is dark. No one sees you there. No one sees you when you wake up at 5 a.m. to read. No one sees you when you wake up at 4 a.m. to study. No one sees you late in the night when you're building your skills. No one sees you. And that's the foundation. No one sees that. No one sees that at all. But that's where the bulk of the work goes. 80% goes there. 20% goes in the structure. So when you've put all the hard work on your foundation, all you need is 20%. This is why sometimes you see people showing up out of nowhere and you're thinking, how are they just successful? I only heard about them 3 years ago. No, they've been doing that for over 10 years, working on that 10 years, 20 years. And we didn't see that. We only see the 20%. When we see them rise, we're thinking, where do they come from? And that's how it works. So work on your foundation, work on yourself, build yourself, right? So how do we put all of this together? How do we create a plan for ourselves? Because like I said, when we began, I'm very practical. And I love doing practicalities. I don't like giving complicated things because it's not for everyone. So how do you do this? How do you, plan yourself? How do you do all of this? First thing I would like to ask you is, do you have a LinkedIn profile? If you're someone who's thinking about a positive future, you have to create your LinkedIn profile now. Do you know that it's very easy to reach out to someone on LinkedIn, a CEO in different companies that you'd like to work in? It's very easy to reach out to them on LinkedIn. It's one of the sites that is used for professionals. Leave all this Facebook business. It's, if you really want to grow yourself, really want to really be something, make sure you create your LinkedIn profile. That's a must. So how do we, put all of this together to make something beautiful for yourself to take away? Number one, look at your time. I set out on a Friday, I write down every single thing that needs to be done. I separate everything in 4, right? Like this piece of paper, separate it 4 times. I don't know if you can see that. And then in one box, I have 2, 3, 4. This is how it looks like. I don't know if you can see it. I hope you can. Number 1 is all the skills I need to learn. In the first box, write down all the skills that you need to learn. That's number 1. That's the number 1 important thing in your life. Number 2, write down every single thing that you need to do, right? You need to read, because some of you are still in university, you still need to study. You need to do your exams. You need to do all of those important things to get you to where you need to go. Number 3 is the important things in your life, which can be family, we can be, relaxing sometimes, reading. Make time for that. That's number 3. Number 4 is where I would put Netflix, right? It's where I'd put things like Netflix, movies, going for coffees. We love doing all of those things, but they're not very important. Then when I'm planning my week, I make sure that every single day, my number is the first thing I do in the morning. So if you need to be in class for 7 o'clock, you need to wake up at 5. Perfect your skill for 1 hour. Get ready at 6. Make sure you're in class for 7. I don't know if that would work, but whatever works. Make time earlier on in the day for 1 hour to do one thing that helps you grow towards who you want to be. Make time for that. It has to be early in the morning. It doesn't work in the evening because you're tired in the evening and we're less productive in the evening. So in the evening, you can do something like Netflix, which is number 4. And then number 2 is the bulk of your day because you're studying. Someone who is working, that will be the bulk of their day, what they're working on, the areas they're working on, studying, exams, all of those things. That's number 2. Number 3 is something that you do before you finish your day. When I say before you finish your day, I'm saying around 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock. When you finish your studies, you can do something else for 1 hour. Read maybe 10 pages of a book. Listen to a podcast. There's amazing podcasts out there on YouTube. YouTube is so good. You can learn skills on YouTube every single day. And then number 4 is late in the evening. You can make time for 1 hour if you really want to watch Netflix. If you really want to catch up with people, you can do that. And even in number 3, that's where your, family time as well comes in. You spend time with your family in the evening, you catch up with each other, because our cultures allow for that. Our cultures are family, community oriented. You do that in the evening. trust me, when you start planning your time, when you start planning your future, you'll see a very big difference. You'll see a huge difference. I'll finish up with, because I'm very conscious of the time, I'll finish up with creativity and innovation. I said that all of you are very creative and innovative. One of the ways that you can showcase your skill is by looking for employment, or you can do volunteer in these big organizations. Reach out to the National Youth Council. You can volunteer your time there. It's an area where you can showcase your creativity and your innovation. It gives you room to grow that. And as you're growing your creativity and your innovation, you're also growing your professional network. You need to do this in a very clever way. This is what I'm saying, you need to spend your time wisely. So as you're in that network, who can you connect with? Who can you look for on Facebook, doing things that you like, that you can connect to, and just start having conversations. I mean, Vimel contacted me on Facebook, and that's how we started this conversation. You can meet really good people on Facebook. So reach out to people on Facebook. See who you can volunteer for. Even if it's an organization that is outside of India, it gives you international experience because it shows you how people do things internationally. It shows you how people do things in your country and other countries. It starts creating an awareness and a mindset, a global mindset. Because where we're going, it's all about global mindset. We're not doing small things anymore. Everything is global. Where are we going globally? What are we doing as a global community? So I would say volunteer your skills, even if it's for 6 months. You'll be growing in the area that you're volunteering. It's a skill you add in your CV, but it's also an area to play with your creativity and innovation. And someone like Vimal can look at you in the National Youth Council and say, you know what? I really like that person. I really like their creativity and innovation. And because he knows so many people, he can recommend you for a job. You just never know how these things happen. Don't think one way. Nowadays, professional progression is not linear. Professional progression happens in any way. It can go lengthwise, you go to a different country and then you go forward. It can happen anyway. So be open to that. Be open to that innovation. Be open to growing your skills, because you're investing in yourself. You're investing in your future. And I'd like to end with, your future is valuable. You're valuable. You have so much to contribute to the economy, the global economy. Think outside of India. India is massive, yes, but think outside of India, because India is making a huge impact globally. People are wearing clothes from India in different countries. How is that happening? This was unheard of before, but people are wearing clothes made in your country. People are buying things from your country, from where they are. So think global. What difference can you make? I would love to know how you all get on. I'll definitely keep in touch with Vimal, and because I love knowing how your futures will be. Just know I'm rooting for all of you, and I appreciate all of you taking time to be here. And thank you so much, Vimal, for this invite and the National Youth Council. I am finished.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, thank you so much for your time. So, Ankita?
Yes, sir. Ms. Regina is going to do the vote of thanks this time.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you, ma'am, for this wonderful speech. On behalf of the National Youth Council of India, it is my privilege to propose the vote of thanks on this occasion. My heart fills with a lot of gratitude and respect for your distinguished guest speaker, Ms. Harriet Khataba, for not only sharing her valuable time but also enlightening us with her commendable talk on self-development. Thank you, ma'am, for enhancing our knowledge on how to work on ourselves, how to be specific, and how to use our time productively. You have indeed put your best efforts to make this event successful. Last but not least, I take this opportunity to thank Mr. Vimal, President of the National Youth Council of India, Tamil Nadu, for guiding us throughout this event. Thank you, sir, for your support.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, meet again. Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you so much.